नमस्कार, हांव आदित्य वाटवे तुमकां सगळ्यांक माय मोगाचो येवकार दिता. इश्टांनो, तुमी जाणाच आसतले 31 ऑक्टोबर हो एक म्हत्वाचो दीस. हो दीस आमी वर्ल्ड युनिटी डे म्हणून सेलिब्रेट करता. भारताचे लोह पुरुष, पुराय भारताक एकठांय हाडपी भारतरत्न सरदार वल्लभभाई पटेल यांचो हो एक जन्मदीस. हीच संद घेवन आज आमी सरदार पटेल हांचे जिवीत आणि कार्य ह्या विशयाचेर एक भासाभास एक मुलाखत आयोजित केल्या. ह्या कार्यावळीन सर हिमांशु रॉय आमकां तज्ञ म्हणून लाभिल्ले आसात. हिमांशु रॉय हांकां अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी फेलोशीप हेंची सिनियर फेलोशीप लाभिल्ली आसा. नेहरू मेमोरियल म्युझियम लायब्ररी न्यू दिल्ली हांचे ते मेंबर आसात. तांणी पटेल पॉलिटिकल आयडियाज अँड पॉलिसीज तशेंच स्टेट पॉलिटिक्स इन इंडिया, इंडियन पॉलिटिकल थॉट, इंडियन आणि साल्वा जुलून अशी पुस्तकांचे लेखन केलेले आसा. आज ह्या कार्यावळीन हांव तांकां येवकार दिता. सर, वेलकम टू दिस शो. Sir, without wasting much time, let's start with the program. My first question to you is, sir, kindly throw some light on Sardar Patel's entry into local politics and his introduction to Indian freedom movement.
Aditya, it all began in 1916. It all began from 1916. He was a known lawyer in Ahmedabad, very known barrister, in fact, in Ahmedabad. And very recently, Ahmedabad Municipal Commissioner, Mr. Shildi, was to join, an ICS officer. And everyone knew there that only Patel could tackle him, because Mr. Shildi had a reputation of a tough ICS officer. And few years ago, there was in Bombay presidency, some laws were enacted for the governance of municipalities. Ahmedabad was one of the municipalities. I'm talking about old Ahmedabad in around period 1916-17. So the president of Ahmedabad municipality, who was a friend of Patel, who knew Patel and his reputation, because Patel was one of the most successful lawyer from his very almost first day when he began his profession in 1900 as a pleader. And then after becoming barrister, he was another great successful barrister. So they requested him, in fact, to contest the municipal election. So in 1917, in January, there was a vacancy for bypoll in Ahmedabad municipality. Patel agreed to contest. He contested, won the election by one vote. One vote. But on technical grounds, his election was countermanded, cancelled. Again, in the month of in the month of April, there was a by-election. And this time he won, uncontested. No one contested against him. And then he became the chairman of the sanitary committee, subsequent itself. And then his political integration with political process of his participation in the national movement began. So from 1917, technically, as a elected representative of the municipality, it all began. But yes, politically, in Gujarat Sabha, he was from October 1916, he had become active. He subsequently became secretary to Gujarat Sabha. And later on, when Gujarat Sabha was converted into the Gujarat Pradesh Congress Committee, from 1920, he became the president of the Gujarat Pradesh Congress Committee for another almost 30 years. So that's how he began in the politics as well.
And that also marks the beginning of his participation in India's freedom struggle.
Definitely, that was also the beginning of participation, a fight against British authorities, then the nationalization of the medium or the curriculum in the municipal schools.
Municipal.
Yes, then
Okay.
forcing the cantonments, the military cantonments, to pay the water price, which the Ahmedabad municipality was almost paying to the cantonment at a very subsidized price. So these were some of the issues that Patel had began to tackle once he entered into municipality. And of course, politically with Gujarat Sabha, his political process of participation in the freedom struggle began.
Sir, kindly elaborate more on his role in India's freedom movement, especially with regards to non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and the Quit India movement, and
See,
obviously Bardoli Satyagraha.
yes, Kheda and Bardoli. So, and not only Kheda and Bardoli in Gujarat, one man who had a complete command and who commanded respect from the residents, villagers of Gujarat.
Hmm.
It was unparalleled. Not only Bardoli and Kheda, but even in non-cooperation movement in 1920, he had a complete sway over the Gujarat population. And then, of course, the civil disobedience movement again back to Gujarat, because
Hmm.
in 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 uh, in in the party, Congress party, his main role began as the chairman of the Congress Parliamentary Board,
Board.
who secured or the money for the elections, who selected the candidates, gave them the
Hmm.
tickets, etc. Then interacted with the elected representatives in the assembly that was formed, etc. So it was Patel all the way from 34 onwards as the chairman of Congress Parliamentary
Congress.
Board, who decided these candidates, the funding, etc. And it was on the request of Gandhi,
Hmm.
who asked him to take over these process, electoral political process. So not only the freedom struggle that he participated in the Quit India movement, for almost 9 years, he was in jails, different jails for 9 years. And one thing
Sir,
you keep in mind that for the viewers that Patel was born in 1876. Of course, his official date of birth is 31st October that he accepted, but he knew that it was 1876. So at a ripe age of roughly 35 plus, he had joined the politics. He had not
politics.
joined the politics from the age of 18 or 20.
18.
But imagine it, 1875, 25 years, and then here 1917. So 42
Around
almost.
42.
Hmm.
Yes, even his childhood was a little tough because he completed his schooling at a very later age.
Yes. At the age of
Yes.
18, in
Sir,
fact, he became matriculate. At the age of 18,
metric.
he became.
Yes.
See, actually, he
Sir,
belonged to a very poor family.
oh,
His father had a 10 acres of land, and
hmm.
he used to cultivate himself. Five brothers, Patel was five brothers. So each brother, if you divide, so 2 acres on an average, 2 acres per family is not very comfortable positions in those
True.
years in
Yes.
Karmsad area from where he belonged to. So unlike Nehru and many others who were in very cozy, comfortable positions,
Comfortable.
here is a man who rose from the ranks, from
Right.
the bottom, and by his sheer will and
Will.
hard labor. So from the bottom, he is reaching to the top by sheer merit and hard labor, his honesty and integrity.
Yes, indeed, it's a exceptional journey. Sir, there were some allegations during freedom movement regarding his role in corruption. Is it true?
No, it's bunkum. Because some of these charges were put or labeled by some of the socialists, some of who were disgruntled with Patel, who were, say, closer to Nehru in those years, in
Those days.
1940s, 1936, 42, 45 period, etc. Therefore, the second point was the label, the basis for this labeling was that it was, as I told you, Patel was the man who looked after the funding. It was he who secured the funds for the Congress party to contest the election. In any election, you need the money to contest. And therefore, this charge, which was all bunkum, we know the condition of Patel. Let me tell you his personal property or status. Hardly 2 tire chappals, a pair of khadi dhoti, which was woven by his daughter, 2 kurtas that he put on, and 1 or 2 angrakha. So his entire property was in one small suitcase.
Suitcase.
Yes. Unlike he never lived in Allahabad. That yes, that Shanti Niketan palatial building. Yes.
And Aga Khan Palace. Sir, post-independence, when the matter of electing prime minister candidate, how the CWC deliberated to decide on it, and how Nehru weighed into this issue? Because everyone wants to have their own opinion, because everyone wanted Patel to be the prime minister of India.
That's a fact.
Even the elections, Patel had the support, but how Nehru managed to secure the post?
Let me give you a graphic details that will be best for the audience to have to make their own opinion. In those years, see, it all happened in 1946. There was an election process that had begun that was to end on the last day to fill up for the candidature, those who were eligible candidates, and they thought that they are eligible to contest. So 30th April 1946 was the last date to fill up their nomination. 3 persons had applied. Patel, of course, then Nehru, and then Kripalani. In those years, not unlike now, in those years, it was the president, Pradesh Congress committees. For example, we had Gujarat Pradesh Congress Committee, Bihar Pradesh Congress Committee, Uttar Pradesh Congress Committee. In the name in those years was something different, but these were the Pradesh Congress committees, the provincial Congress committees, which used to elect the Congress president. It was unlike today, where a lady is there for 17 long years, or a president is elected by the high command, nominated by the high command, or elected by the high command, or the Congress working committee. No, it was not the Congress working committee. It was the Pradesh Congress Committee. In 46, there were 15 Pradesh Congress committees. 2 had the observer status. Out of that, 10 voted for Patel to become the president of the Indian National Congress. Most interestingly, not a single Pradesh Congress committee voted for Nehru to become the president. Then Gandhi intervenes. And there is a famous scene in the film Gandhi, Attenborough, if you remember, where Gandhi categorically asked Patel to sit down, give this post to Nehru. So it was on the intervention of Gandhi that Patel sacrificed himself for his 20 years or 15 years younger comrade in arms, Jawaharlal Nehru.
Jawaharlal Nehru.
Patel had the habit of sacrificing for his elder brother
Mm-hmm.
and for his comrades. So that was the man who really commanded respect.
So it was on Gandhi's insistence that Patel had to back down.
Yes, yes.
Uh, since we are discussing about Nehru and Patel, shed some light on the political thoughts of these two great personalities.
See, it's a long debate. Patel has been considered as right wing or something. Many of the socialists or comrades called him reactionary, etc., etc. Uh, but let me tell you, 75 to 80%, despite having an entirely contrary upbringing, a man coming from the bottom, a man descending from the top, world of difference in perception and in thinking. Yet on 75% of the issues, on the nationalist issues which concerned the Congress party or the nation, they were almost together. Yes, the rhetorics of Nehru, particularly which was concerned with the metaphors, using the metaphors like socialism, etc. Patel was not very
Hmm.
comfortable. Uh, and we know that in Patel, there is no dichotomy between what he writes or what he says and what he does. But in Nehru, we find a dichotomy between what he does and what he says. Uh, this
Say,
this dichotomy of Nehru was not liked by Patel. Uh, this is
Patel.
one different perception. Then, of course, the differences, the real serious differences began after they took over. 15th of August, once India became independent, then the real differences
Independent.
begins. And the differences first were on the functioning of the prime minister. Nehru wanted a prime ministerial form of government. Patel wanted a cabinet form of government where the collective, the cabinet, will be the ultimate boss in a democratic politics,
Cabinet.
not one person, the prime minister. This was one major difference. The second major difference was on Pakistan. The third major difference was on Tibet and China. The fourth major was on USA. The fifth major was on Israel. That is, if you club all these things on the foreign policy that Nehru was pursuing or he was trying to pursue, had Patel been not insistence, India would not have been in 46, 48 a member of the Commonwealth of Nations. It was Patel who wrote before China became People's Republic of China, that is on 4th June 1948. He wrote to Nehru, be careful on the Tibet issues with the communist parties. Then he issued white
Uh,
papers. Again, he wrote in 4950. But Nehru did not pay heed to all these suggestions of Patel, unfortunately. Yeah.
Sir, you just now spoke about the views of Nehru and Patel on foreign policy. What was Patel's main concerns with regards to Middle East policy?
See, actually, Nehru was making the Muslim issue to keep the Muslims happy, to keep them in confidence, to take their confidence. He never recognized Israel. Patel suggested him to
Hmm.
recognize Israel as an independent country. Look, do not be please guided by the Arab world or the local Muslim population. So, in the making of foreign policy, look at the national interest. not the interest of a particular religion and guided by
Religion.
a particular religion get influenced by the Arab world. This was one very serious major differences.
Uh, we call Patel as a unifier of India. Uh, Sir, what was his main role in uniting all the princely states? And when Maharaja Hari Singh of Kashmir decided to remain neutral, and then subsequently Pakistan attacked India in 1948, what was his role like? First, in uniting India, with other 560 odd princely states, and with regards to Kashmir issue.
Two different questions. Let me begin with the integration process. And we all know from the childhood we have been reading as an Iron Man. It was Gandhi again who had trusted Patel, who had asked Patel to take over this integration process. He knew very well, both of being Gujarati and having almost the similar psyche. He knew that this kind of tough work can be done only by Patel. This is beyond the capability of Nehru. And Nehru
Okay.
being the prime minister, he was too busy with many other issues. 565 principalities or Raje Rajwade. Out of that, 562 joined before 15th August 1947. Only three were left: Hyderabad, Jammu Kashmir, and
Junagadh.
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 In Hyderabad, the army was to be sent under the police operation, and finally the problem was sorted out. In Jammu Kashmir, had Patel ideas been heeded to, Jammu and Kashmir would have been an integral part of India, which part is still being occupied by Pakistan, that Gilgit Hunja, or what we call Pak occupied Kashmir.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
was Nehru who
Kashmir.
went to United Nations. Patel was not in any agreement. He was rather in a position to Nehru to take this issue to uh, United Nations. We have seen the consequences of it. Nehru regretted it later on, but he
Yes.
didn't pay heed to Patel's
The,
idea, who was 15 years elder to him. Then uh, Patel was 100% sure that he will talk to Jinnah that two territories. Today's Bangladesh, and this is an interesting fact that I'm sharing you. Uh, Give me Bangladesh, that is, give it to India, and take Muslim-dominated Kashmir Valley. Ladakh, Jammu will be part of India.
okay.
Give me Bangladesh, and in lieu of Bangladesh, you take Kashmir Valley. Patel knew the weakness of Jinnah for Kashmir Valley. So he
Hmm.
was thinking that once all these issues are settled down, he will talk to Jinnah for this, and he was sure that Jinnah will agree to it. But that is the later situation once the United Nations, etc., intervened, because Nehru took this issue to United Nations. Here, the military was in position to take entire Jammu and Kashmir by force, and military was stopped or not given clear-cut command to take over this entire territory. A ceasefire was called. A military which is emerging victorious or is on the threshold of emerging victorious, which is interested in moving to take back in the entire territory of Jammu and Kashmir, then the prime minister is not giving order to take over this part. Secondly, resisting or desisting Patel, because Jammu and Kashmir was taken away from the Ministry of Estates by Nehru and put it under the command of uh, Ministry of External Affairs, which was under the control of Nehru. So, from the Ministry of or under the command and control of Patel, Jammu and Kashmir was taken over by Nehru under the Ministry of External Affairs on the pretext that now this has become an external affairs issue, as United Nation has intervened.
Intervene.
So Jammu and Kashmir, in Jammu and Kashmir, Patel had now no longer any role to play. That was the uh, tragic part. The second part of the answer is this regarding Jammu and Kashmir, that and there are two different interpretations. One is that Maharaja was willing long before Pakistan attacked to join India, but it was Nehru on behest of Sheikh Abdullah who wanted first to make Sheikh Abdullah the premier of Jammu and Kashmir, to abandon the power as Sadr Riyasat first, let Hari Singh relinquish the throne, hand over the power to Sheikh Abdullah, and then we'll think about it. This was the stand of Nehru, which initially Hari Singh was not interested in handing over the power, but he was definitely willing to become part of India.
Yeah. Sir, in your answer, you mentioned about Jinnah. Uh, what were the relations between Sardar Patel and Jinnah and his views regarding Muslim League?
One man who knew Jinnah was Patel, because both of them were Gujaratis. You will be surprised to know that there was not much of a distance of the two villages of Gandhi and Jinnah. Hardly 30 kilometers aerial distance between their villages or from where their ancestors came. So they knew each other. It was only Patel who had the guts and the capability to tackle Jinnah, and not only Muslim League. Patel knew what language Jinnah will understand, because Jinnah was a successful lawyer. Patel was a successful lawyer. A lawyer could be countered by a lawyer himself. Nehru was not a successful lawyer. In fact, he had failed miserably as a lawyer. He never knew how to tackle Jinnah.
This was also the time when Veer Savarkar and RSS ideology, Hindutva ideology, was emerging. Since we discussed about Muslim League and Jinnah, what were the thoughts of Patel with regards to RSS? Because there is always a kind of a perception that Patel was inclining towards the right-wing ideology. Throw some light on this aspect.
You see, this is again the canard spread by the socialists, including JP and Ashok Mehta and Misu Masani, etc., who later on, at the fag end of their life, political life, regretted, wrote that the charges that they had leveled against Patel was all unfortunate and they were wrong. They confessed their mistakes in writing. I'm talking about all these three names. And they confessed that had Patel been the Prime Minister of India, he would have been far better than Nehru, because by that time, these three gentlemen saw the brute power of the dynasty. They died in late 70s and 80s. So by that time, the dynasty had emerged in a very dominant way. They had seen their brute power. And at the fag end of their life, as they grew mature, because in 40s, they were still young. So when they became mature and responsible, they could feel that Patel was far better as an administrator and would have been a better prime minister than Nehru. Let me now tell you one thing, that these canards in 1940s, 36 afterwards was spread by, again, the socialist leaders. Patel had a feeling, he believed rather, that RSS was the nationalist force. He used the word nationalist.
Nationalist.
Yes, it was Nehru who opposed RSS. It was Nehru who thought that RSS was authoritarian, dictatorial, fascistic. These were some of the words that was used by Nehru, not by Patel. Patel thought about RSS as nationalist organization. It was on the insistence of Nehru that after the death of Gandhi on 12th February 1948, RSS was banned, because
Right.
time and again Nehru asked Patel to do something, and when Patel asked Nehru that, do you have any evidence, then instead of providing the evidence to Patel to ban the RSS, or the to make RSS complicit in the murder of Gandhi, he was evasive. Nehru was evasive. Nehru said, Falana, this man has given me the reference. So he used to give a reference instead of evidence. But he, 3 or 4 times, he insisted to do something on the RSS. Patel was forced to ban the RSS on 12th February, if I remember the date, 1948.
Okay. Sir, right at the beginning, you spoke about Sardar Patel coming born in a peasant family. Sir, what was his role in the cooperative movement and which later on gave birth to Amul?
Yes. You see, in those years, in 39-40, the peasants, kisans of Gujarat used to complain that one Bombay company, if I remember the name, it was Polonji something, Polon or Polonji
Hmm.
company, which was exploiting or oppressing these peasants while the milk were being collected. So it was the idea of Patel who suggested to kisans of Gujarat that you form your own cooperative, bring in, put some resources, limited resources, each family, and if you pull up your resources, you have together, you will have more resources, and you can sell your milk to the towns and the cities. So the idea of the cooperative, regarding this milk cooperative, Amul, which became later on,
Later.
was the idea of Patel. This is one thing, but let me tell you, in 1920 itself, the first group housing society in Ahmedabad was formed by Patel when he was the chairman of the sanitary committee, and subsequently for 10 years he was in Ahmedabad municipality as an elected representative of the citizens of Ahmedabad, as a chairman of Ahmedabad municipality. So first time as a sanitary committee chairman, member, then chairman, and then chairman of the Ahmedabad municipality. He formed the cooperative housing societies for the residents.
Sir, since we are running short of time, I would like to ask you one last question.
Hmm.
What is your perspective on the Statue of Unity, and how has it been able to amplify the ideology that Sardar Patel had always stood for?
You see, idea of this national integration, idea of nationalism has been in this country for centuries. But as we know, it was more a cultural nationalism. Across the countries, we knew uh, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and if you look at our names, it's Aditya, it's Krishna, it's Shiv, and from Jammu to Kanyakumari, this was cultural nationalism. People had commonalities, people had similarities. They thought to an extent on a similar kind of issues. uh, After the British came, we had more a political nationalism, and this process of integration grew with the passage of time. Post 47, further we got more integrated. So no one else apart from Sardar Patel, whose statue is there, could be a better symbol of national integration and nationalism.
तर लोहपुरुष सरदार वल्लभभाई पटेल यांच्या जयंती निमित्तान त्यांचे जीवित आणि कार्य या विषयाचे ही खाशेली कार्यावळ आमी घडोवन हाडली. सरान आमकां जायती म्हायती दिल्या, तशेंच योग्य मार्गदर्शन सुद्दां केलां. त्या खातीर हांव तेंचे काळजा सावन देव बरें करूं म्हणटा. सर, थँक्यू सो मच फॉर गायडींग अस थ्रू आउट द प्रोग्राम. आणि इश्टांनो, ह्या कार्यावळींतल्यान हांव तुमचो निरोप घेता. देव बरें करूं.